טל רון. פסיכולוגית בהתמחות רפואית, מנהלת חממת בוראות, חממת יזמות חברתית לקידום בריאות האישה בישראל של ארגון קרן בריאה, יזמת בתחום בריאות האישה, מייסדת שותפה בחברת FemTech שפיתחה סנסור לביש חכם למעקב פוריות.
אני אעשה את ההרצאה בשפה האנגלית. So today I am 30 weeks and 6 days pregnant. I just want to kind of get this out of the way. People often ask me, it's like the number one question I get asked even now during recess. Yes, I am 30 weeks and 6 days pregnant. So this kind of gives you a sense of idea of where I stand during this journey of pregnancy. I guess that's why you ask. But where does this data come from? How do I know that I'm 30 weeks pregnant? So when I first discovered, the gynecologist asked. And from this data, we can actually see that from the last time I got my period, we estimated the time of my due date, and we estimate the age of pregnancy. So my gynecologist had to ask me, when was my last period? And so when I come to think of it, it was the first time I've been asked when I got my period from a healthcare provider. And why do I find this odd? It's because periods are a vital sign. When you think of it, they never come unnoticed. They always come with some kind of reaction. It could be, oh, that's why, kind of like an explanation. And it could be a relief, and it could be a disappointment if you were trying to conceive. And they don't come only with a reaction of that kind, but also they are associated with medical conditions such as migraines that appear all of a sudden in a certain time of the month, epilepsy that appears. It could be diabetes, where the sugar level goes up. There's a lot of different medical conditions that are associated with our cycles. And it's because it's associated with the entire immune system. And also, there are cognitive functions and physical performance that also change during our cycle. And our mental states. It could be mood swings, it could be motivation. There are also good things. I mean, you can be more focused. You can be more motivated in a certain time and then know how to plan your month. And so these connections are well known, but there's also kind of like a mutual connection there. And this is where it gets a bit complex. So our mental states, if we're too stressed, it could also change our cycles. Or if we don't sleep, it could also affect. Or if we're sick, our periods can come earlier or later. And for years, we were excluded and neglected from clinical trials because this is too confusing, this is too complex. We're too prone to change. But are we really? What if this data can actually tell us more about reality? What if it can connect us more to our own biology and our environment? I joined FemTech about a decade ago when I was trying to avoid pregnancy, and I didn't want to take any hormonal contraceptives. Maybe I knew Yael in some kind of level, but I didn't want to take any, and I received a lot of contempt and gaslighting from doctors. Tempdrop is a fertility monitor. It's a wearable device that you sleep with during the night, and it monitors your temperature. And from that temperature, you can actually see a reading of your cycle. You can determine when you're ovulating, and you can get a whole overview of the different phases of your cycle. And so seeing this is data that has been around for forever, right? But seeing it made me realize that you can learn so much more just from our cycle, just from seeing it. And so I moved on, and I joined Bria Foundation to also see the social impact of knowing women and women's health and owning it. And the second part of what I do today is I'm a medical psychologist. I studied my master's degree, and together with Tel Aviv University and academic college of Tel Aviv Yafo, we initiated research seeing what's going on during the pandemic and how the lockdown may affect our cycles. This is when I was writing my thesis, and I thought it would be interesting just to kind of see if there's any effect. And this is what we found out. This doesn't mean anything to you, maybe, but this is actually taking women who have regular cycles, looking at their data 3 months from before the lockdown, which is regular, 28 days, 30 days, 32 days. And then during the lockdown, you can see kind of like this triangle, which means disruption. All of a sudden, their regular cycles were either shortened, decreased, as it says here, or the length was longer, meaning they got their period either early or late. And then right after that, it got back to what it was before. Why it came early to some women and late to others as a result of stress, we don't know. This is something that science still doesn't know, why some women react one way, the other react a different way, but we know that stress changes our cycle. When the world stops, our cycle also stops. What's in charge of making life changes. And so this notion is actually something that helps us understand that when the world is going crazy and our body's going crazy, it's not that we're going crazy, we're just reacting to the world. And so I just saw this week on the news from Shaarei Tzedek. There was a research that they found out that there was an increase of 35% more heart attacks from the beginning of the world. How does this have to do with my research? Well, first of all, it's no mystery that there is a link between stress and mental health, our bodies and our minds. But what if we can actually use our cycles data to better understand what's going on in the large-scale public health? What if it could help us prevent it's a crisis. It's a health crisis. So it doesn't only have to do with women. It doesn't only have to do with equality. It has to do with the entire society, with the health of the entire society. And so these mutual connections are crucial for us to live a healthier life. And so if we look into this is small research, but it has everything, the data that you need. There is a psychological aspect here, which I a bit talked about it, it's knowing that you're not alone and it's not only in your head, but also as a psychologist, I can look into a patient's cycle and see how it could affect what she's feeling, give her a better treatment. It also has to do with the collective aspect, because this is a large scale. It's not only a one-person problem, but it's the world's problem. Medical aspect, financial aspect, giving more preventative initiatives can save us money. Innovative aspect, well, these are technological tools that enable us to change. And there's the gender aspect, which is obviously, why don't we know enough? Why do we still have to fight for data that we already have? We have the data, we have the minds, we have the tools, we have the understanding, we also have an interest, and we can fill this gap. Thank you very much.